For hundreds of years, people from all walks of life have reported sightings of a large hairy animal walking on 2 feet. The scientific community has dismissed these sightings as hoaxes, hallucinations, or misidentified bears. But is there another option? Is it possible that there is an ape, the largest of the great apes, unrecognized and unclassified by modern science, roaming the forest of North America? Please join us as we seek the answer to this compelling question. You have arrived at the intersection of myth and science, of fact and folklore. You have arrived at Bigfoot Crossing.
Hey, good afternoon, fellow babies. This is Michael Willey. We are back here at Bigfoot Crossing. We had a 3-week hiatus, and we are... Did I say that word right, Daryl?
I think that's what you had, Michael.
All right. We had a 3-week hiatus, and we are back on the air. We are so glad to be back, and we're glad to have you here with us today. I am here with my good friend Daryl Williams. Daryl, you doing good?
Doing good, Michael. We're glad to have you back. Sorry, things. We've had a little holiday interruption and then some other things, but good to have you back in the hunt.
Well, we're tickled pink to be back, and we have got. We're going to have just a call-in talk show today, folks. So we're going to be giving away some books, giving away some little. Necklaces, and I'll describe those later. And got lots of things to talk about today.
You're out of uniform today.
I know it.
Can you do the radio show if you're not in your official Bigfoot?
Well,
don't. You can't go change now.
I can't go change now. It's too late. I can't find it.
Show's started.
I can't find my shirt. So I cleaned out my car. Because I always kept it right there in my car, I'd put it in my car.
It's like Superman lost his cape.
I know. I feel naked, and so I can't find my show shirt. So we're gonna have to struggle through today, without my show shirt, and I gotta track it down though. I cleaned out my car and now I can't find anything.
I thought about it when I saw that necklace you had.
Yeah.
So but you got some goodies today, then.
I do. We've got a couple of books to give away. We've got. I found these little pendants on Amazon, and they're handcrafted out of acrylic clay. They're fired in the oven, and one of them has a Bigfoot footprint on it, and the other one has... I guess I need to explain this one a little bit. In a cave, and I think it's in California. It's out in the out west somewhere. There are petroglyphs, rock carvings on the cave wall, and one of them is what archaeologists call the hairy man, and what Bigfoot researchers think is a petroglyph of a Bigfoot. And so we've got a couple of those. We've got a couple of good books to give away, and we're going to have a good show. I've got some. We'll have some Bigfoot trivia, and if you can answer the questions, you can win. And we've got folks that need to come get their books too. We've got Cody Skinner. If you're listening today, you need to stop by and pick up your book that you won a couple of weeks ago. But also, we've got some bad news. I heard about this while we were on our hiatus. I am saying that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right.
You're the attorney.
No, well, that doesn't mean anything.
You use all these fancy words.
Yeah, attorneys just mispronounce Latin right and left. We get to really mangle the Latin language. But y'all, if you've been a listener on the show, you've heard me mention John Green many times. John Green was really a pioneer in the search for Bigfoot, and somebody that I had always hoped to meet one day, and he passed away May 28th. I'm going to read part of what Lauren Coleman had to write, what he wrote about John Green on CryptoZooNews.com. And Lauren Coleman, who's a great cryptozoologist in his own right, wrote, "One of the greatest chroniclers of the Sasquatch phenomenon has passed on to another part of his journey. John Willison Green, who was born on February 12, 1927 in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, died May 28, 2016 in Chilliwack, British Columbia, at the age of 89. His family withheld the news from the general public until early June 2016. The tireless Canadian journalist was one of the world's foremost researchers of Sasquatch in the world. John Green has enriched the study of unknown hair-covered primates in North America for decades. He once told a reporter he had a database of more than 3,000 sighting and track reports before the advent of the Internet. He holds the title as the first primary chronicler in Sasquatch studies. His work in the field has led some to affectionately refer to John Green as Mr. Sasquatch. John Green was raised in British Columbia. His father was Howard Green, a longtime member of the Canadian Parliament and a cabinet minister. His mother, Marion Green, née Mounts, was the daughter of a Vancouver Island lumber baron and the first woman to graduate from the University of British Columbia School of Agricultural Sciences. John Green's writing career began in 1944 when John was a student at UBC. He wrote for the student newspaper, the UBC, and the Totem yearbooks. He also covered campus news for the Vancouver province. After graduating at 19, he immediately went to Columbia University and soon obtained a master's in journalism. Green worked part-time for the Globe and Mail in New York City, then for 2 years as a full-time reporter at the paper's Toronto headquarters. He returned to Vancouver to cover local news for the province, worked for a time at the Victoria Times Colonist, and then decided to purchase the Agassiz Harrison Advance. Actually, I think that's pronounced Agassiz Harrison Advance, and it was then that John Green moved to Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia. As a journalist and a publisher, Green had access to a variety of British Columbia news. He had written a fictional April Fool's story about Sasquatch in 1953. But he first asked seriously about Sasquatch in 1956 when Swiss-born René Dahinden entered Green's office to inquire about two-legged upright creatures like the abominable snowman reported in the area. Green told Dahinden the reports were nonsense. But Green continued hearing about lore and sightings from people he respected. Thus, Green started investigating Sasquatch reports in earnest in 1957, in interviewing witnesses and conducting on-site inquiries. In the late 1950s, Green was the first to conduct an in-depth interview of Albert Ostman regarding Ostman's 1924 Sasquatch abduction incident, which is something we've talked about briefly. John Green also extended the modern history of Sasquatch back to 1941 to a 1941 encounter labeled by Green as the Ruby Creek Incident, because it happened a half-mile east of that little settlement in British Columbia. During 1958, hundreds of large footprints were found on a logging road near Bluff Creek, California, by construction workers and reported to authorities. One man, bulldozer operator Jerry Crew, took a plaster cast of one track to a local newspaper as proof, and the moniker Bigfoot was born. John Green and his wife June immediately drove south to investigate, but were told that they were too late. The tracks had been backbladed. Green grew skeptical and told his wife they might have just driven 3 days for a prank. He asked the road construction crew if they could look around anyway. Green says that what happened next was June opened her car door and there was a footprint a few feet from their vehicle. What particularly impressed John Green was the similarity between the outline of these Bluff Creek tracks and the tracings he had of one of the Ruby Creek footprints. John Green was the last surviving investigator of that significant first American Bigfoot case. The death of John Green marks a milestone, as now the entire first generation of that 1958 Bluff Creek incident have passed away. John Green, great man, wrote 5 books. I have them listed here. He wrote On the Track of the Sasquatch in 1968, Year of the Sasquatch in 1970, The Sasquatch File in 1973, his landmark book, Sasquatch, the Apes Among Us, in 1978, and Encounters with Bigfoot, And then in 2015, I think, he wrote Hancock House Publishers combined, I think, On the Track of Sasquatch and Encounters with Bigfoot into a single book. And then John Green wrote about 5 chapters updating a lot of information since Sasquatch the Apes Among Us had been published. And so, 7 books? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books, I'm sorry. And I have them all on my shelf, and they're invaluable research references. And he was just a great and good man, nice man. Never denied anybody access to his files. From what I understand, if you were a Bigfoot researcher and you had a question, and you asked John Green if you could look in his files were open to anybody. He didn't keep any secrets. And I emailed him questions on occasion, and he responded very gently, very gentlemanly. And it was like I said, a long time wish.
Wow.
To meet him, and I've missed that because he passed away to his reward. But anyhow, we will continue the search. We will continue to get scientists involved and interested, and we'll continue hunting for him right here in Middle Tennessee. So if you've got a sighting that you've made, or you know somebody who has a Bigfoot sighting, time to call the show. Time to call me. Time to give me the number for the
615-794-1950 is our station line.
I know the number, but I like to hear Daryl's mellifluous voice as he rattles that number off. And but my number for my cell phone is 615-516-7173. If you don't want to talk about it over the air, we can talk about it personally. And we would love to hear from you. We have let's ask some trivia questions here. What other name is Bigfoot known as in Florida? Is it A, the Rougarou, B, the Yowie, C, the Woolly Booger, or D, the Skunk Ape?
In Florida.
In Florida.
Okay.
In Florida. So if you've got the answer to that question, call. Daryl, give us the number again.
615-794-1950.
And you can have your choice of 2 books that I've got today. One is The Hoopa Project, Bigfoot Encounters in California by David Paulides. The other is Raincoast Sasquatch by J. Robert Alley. Looks at Bigfoot Sasquatch records of southeast Alaska, coastal British Columbia, and northwest Washington from Puget Sound on up. So you have your choice of those 2 books, or you can have one of our lovely necklaces.
Okay. Sounds like some great summer reading.
Yeah.
And I think you got a contestant, Michael.
Oh, great. Welcome to...
They're called a skunk ape, ain't they?
Hey, yes, who are we talking to?
My name is Trey Stafford.
Trey Stafford.
Trace Stafford. All right, Trace. Well, congratulations. They are indeed called the skunk ape. Rougarou, for folks who are keeping notes here, Rougarou is what they're called in Louisiana.
Yep.
And the Yowie is what they're called in Australia.
Yep.
And the Woolly Booger is what they're called in East Tennessee. I've heard folks refer to them in East Tennessee as Woolly Boogers.
Yeah.
So, well, congratulations, Trace. Which book would you like, or would you prefer one of these pendants?
I'd rather have the pendant, I believe.
Okay. Do you want the one with the hairy man on it, or the Bigfoot footprint?
The hairy man.
The hairy man. All right. Good choice. Good choice. There. One of my bucket list things, I guess I could call it, is to get out to. I think it's in California, where the cave is, where the hairy man petroglyph is.
Yeah.
And see that in person. So, well, Trace, we will have this here for you by the radio station. Do you know the address?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, come on by. We'll have your name on it. You pick it up.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
So you made a good choice?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Good
That's-
choice. These are really cool. I found them on Amazon, and it is a really good representation.
That is, yeah.
Of the hairy man petroglyph, if you've seen pictures of it, and it, of course, archaeologists, they're going to poo-poo it and say, no, that's just a drawing, but it looks, people who made those cave drawings drew pictures of things they saw.
Yeah.
They saw buffalo, they saw deer, they saw antelope, they saw Bigfoot. So why not? But let's get one more trivia question going here. Are you taking notes over there?
I am.
All right. Here we go. What is Bigfoot supposed to smell like? A, really bad dung. B, terrible body odor. C, something rotting in the sun. Or D, all of the above. So you can call us at the number, Daryl.
615-794-1950.
And you'll have your choice of prizes if you get the answer correct.
Yeah, I think you should call me Johnny when we're doing the game shows. Like,
Come on down.
Here's Johnny with more.
That's right.
Or who are those announcers were
yeah,
back
Johnny
on the game
and
shows?
Alan.
Alan, I could be Alan or Johnny.
No,
or
Johnny fits.
Johnny
fits.
okay.
I like that. Yeah, Johnny, tell them more about what they've won.
Well, folks, y'all call Michael Willey. He's standing by, and take a guess, and you might again win a book for some great summer reading, or win the other pendant. And it's good looking item there.
Yeah, so give us a call. We have these two books still, and and it is a great time for summer reading, and this would make some great reading. Raincoast Sasquatch is the Bigfoot Sasquatch records of Southeast Alaska, British Columbia, and Northwest Washington, and then we've got the Hoopa Project, which chronicles Bigfoot encounters in California. That's my daughter calling me. So I better.
Well, I think we have a call, and go ahead. You're on the Bigfoot Crossing show.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Bigfoot Crossing.
Hey there. Thanks for taking my call. I'm going to guess all the above.
All the above. That is the correct answer.
Cool.
And the crowd goes wild.
Freaky, stinky feller.
Yes, they are. One, and I believe it's in John Green's book, Sasquatch: The Apes Among Us, where one witness calls it, describes the odor as the worst skunk you've ever smelled, crossed with the worst outhouse you've ever been in.
Mm.
So that's pretty stinky.
I've had roommates like that.
Well, you have our sympathies. But who am I talking to?
This Roger.
Roger? What's your last name,
Yeah.
Roger?
Last name's Dent.
Roger Dent. All right.
Okay, Roger.
Roger, which prize are you wanting today? Do you want one of the books, or do you want the necklace with the Bigfoot footprint on it?
They're all tempting. I'll take the hairy guy.
Oh, the hairy guy's already been taken.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Trey got that one.
Trey got that one.
Yeah,
Yep. We've got the Bigfoot footprint.
Doggone it. I thought you had more than one.
No, I'm
How
sorry.
about the big feet?
You want the Bigfoot necklace?
Yeah.
It's a nice one too,
It's nice.
Roger.
Yep. So, all right, Roger.
Good choice.
We'll put your name on it. You've got the address for the radio station?
Is that something you put on your cowboy hat, or what do you do with it?
Well, you could wear it as around your neck as a necklace, or I guess you could put it on your cowboy hat.
Get creative.
Put it around that like a hat band, something like that.
Or make a great Christmas gift.
Make a great stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
There you
right.
go.
All right, thanks, man.
Thank you. Just come on
Okay.
by the station and pick it up.
All right. Well, congratulations to our two winners, Roger and Trey, today.
All right, Roger. Let me write these things
Roger
down.
Dent.
Roger
Dent.
Dent.
And Trey Stafford.
Trey Stafford. All right. Well, let's get one more. Oh, this is a good one.
We're going to give away a book this time
Give
around.
away a book this time. You've got your choice of the Hoopa Project or Raincoast Sasquatch.
This will be good for the beachside reading this summer on vacation.
You
while
know,
the
and
ocean is,
When you're sitting there on the beach and you've got a book about Sasquatch, that's bound to be a conversation starter.
That's right.
Either that or people will leave you alone. So either way, it's a great benefit. So let's get one more question in here. What 1987 movie was about a Bigfoot picked up in the forest in Washington State? Was it A, Revenge of Bigfoot, B, The Capture of Bigfoot, C, Harry and the Hendersons, or D, The Unknown? Ooh, that sounds like a good movie. The Unknown. What is that howling in the woods? It's The Unknown. Give us a call here at
615-794-1950.
I better write that number down too. 615-794-1950. 1950. See, all of our loyal trade time callers, they know that number.
Yeah, they should know that number.
They know
and
that
what
really
what
good.
are the books, Michael, they're going to select?
We've got a choice between The Hoopa Project, Bigfoot Encounters in California by David Paulides, with sketches by forensic artist Harvey Pratt. I think that's interesting. Raincoast Sasquatch is the other book, the Bigfoot Sasquatch records of southeast Alaska, coastal British Columbia, and northwest Washington from Puget Sound to Yakutat. I'm guessing how that's pronounced.
That sounds like a good guess to me.
I have probably completely mangled the name of that little town, but give us a call, and we'll keep our trivia game a-going.
All right, and that number again is 615-794-1950, and Michael Willey would like to put a book in someone's hands today, and you too can be a student of everything Bigfoot.
And I want to put out a request. If you know of anybody who lives in the Flintville area, and had anything to do with the Bigfoot sightings in the Flintville area in the 70s and 80s, I would love to talk to them. I'm trying to find it here in John Green's book. This is why I always carry John Green's book with me, because it's just a fountainhead of information. And here we are. I want to read this account, and actually I'm going to read a couple accounts here because Giles County had a number of Bigfoot sightings in the 70s and 80s, and this is quoting from John Green's book, Sasquatch, the Apes Among Us. Don Worley, in an article in Argosy UFO, July 1977, reported that in October 1975, a farmer in Giles County saw in his barn a black, shaggy-haired monster with no neck, and that it fatally injured a calf by lifting it overhead and throwing it down. In April 1976, Tennessee produced perhaps the most widely publicized story from any southern state, and for once there was something special about the actions of the creature to account for the media attention. Mrs. Jenny Robertson, who lives near Flintville in Lincoln County, told the story. The following quotation, telling what happened to her and her 4-year-old son, is from the May 18th issue of a paper called The Star, but the clipping does not say what town the paper is from. Quote, "It was about 9 o'clock in the evening, and Gary had walked out the back door after supper." Gary was Jenny Robertson's 4-year-old son. "I was standing just behind him, and I heard him cry out. I rushed out the door and saw this huge figure coming around the corner of the house. It was 7 or 8 feet tall and seemed to be covered all over with hair. It reached out its long, hairy arm towards Gary and came within a few inches of him before I could grab him and pull him back inside. I called to my husband, but by the time he got out the back, it was gone. That's the quote from the newspaper. John Green goes on to write, Mr. Robertson then drove to Fayetteville, placed a notice in the Elk Valley Times warning that the creature was around and that it might be dangerous. He told the interviewer that he had seen it previously near the woods but didn't say anything because he thought people would consider him crazy. The Robertsons' closest neighbor, Houston Smith, told the Star that he had been seeing the thing around the woods for 3 years but had not wanted to tell anyone. It walks upright but kind of bent over, he said. It's not a bear, and it's certainly not a person. A lot of this country's never even been explored. Anything could live there, especially if it only comes out at night like this does. So that's what's this encounter, and there were other encounters in the Flintville, Fayetteville area. That started what was called the Flintville Monster. And so if you're listening, does our signal reach down to Lincoln County?
We go into about 20 counties. I'm not sure about Lincoln.
Okay.
But, of course, worldwide on the Internet.
We are worldwide on the Internet. So if you're listening from Lincoln County or Giles County or around the Fayetteville and Flintville
I would think we go
area,
into that Fayetteville area.
That would be perfect. Just give me a call, 615-516-7173. If you were involved in the Flintville encounters, I'd love to hear from you. I lost contact with a man down there a few years ago. He was actually, what happened, to continue the story, is that when the Robertsons reported it to the sheriff's office that the creature had reached out towards Gary, their little 4-year-old son, they sent out a posse. The sheriff had several men with him, and they went up into the mountains, up into the hills, trying to find it.
Wow, serious.
They were serious about it. And I actually talked to one of the men who was with the sheriff, and I can't at this time remember his name for the life of me, but I lost touch with him. And so if you were involved in any of the incidents in the 1970s regarding the Flintville Monster, I would love to hear from you. And we haven't had a caller yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Oh, now this is an easy one, folks. What 1987 movie was about a Bigfoot picked up in the forest in Washington State? A, Revenge of Bigfoot, B, The Capture of Bigfoot, C, Harry and the Hendersons, or D, The Unknown. Give us a call at
615-794-1950.
And you can have your choice of these two excellent books that are published by Hancock House Publishers, the home of cryptozoology. And they are providing our complimentary copies of books for audience giveaways. And we have the Hoopa Project, Bigfoot Encounters in California. And then Raincoast Sasquatch, the Bigfoot Sasquatch records of southeast Alaska, central British Columbia, and northwest Washington.
Sounds like we have a contestant, Michael.
Hey, thanks for calling Bigfoot Crossing.
Yeah, that was Harry and Henderson's.
Harry and the Hendersons. Give that man a round of applause. The crowd goes wild. All right, congratulations. Who am I talking to?
Tommy Lancaster.
Tommy Lancaster. All right, where are you listening from, Tommy?
In Franklin, just about 4 miles from you.
All right. I'm waiting for somebody to call and say, "Oh, I'm listening from Texas on WAKM or something."
They might.
So, Tommy, you know where the radio station is?
Sure do.
All right. Which book do you want? You've got your choice of Raincoast Sasquatch, which is about Sasquatch sightings in southeast Alaska, coastal British Columbia, and northwest Washington. Or you've got the Hoopa Project about Bigfoot encounters in California.
I'll take the last one.
Take the Hoopa Project? All right, sir. That's a good choice. I have not read it myself, but I've heard it's a very good book.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you for listening. Just stop by the station and pick it up. We'll have your name on it.
Appreciate it, Tommy.
Yes.
All right, congratulations to our winners today.
Yeah, we've got one more book to give away.
So you got some more trivia.
always have more trivia. Always. Let me do this real quick. There.
And Michael, while you do, I will remind folks that the past few days we have had extreme heat. And Michael, I can guess how you are keeping hydrated and cool. I assume it is with your always delicious, silky, wonderful Kangen water.
That is exactly right. I appreciate you bringing that up. It is, if you drink too much water in the summertime, you just get all sloshy. You just feel like you're just gonna roll away. You get so
sloshed.
You get so sloshy and bloated feeling. But that doesn't happen with Kangen water, because it is microclustered and it absorbs so fast into your body. My daughter loves it because she can drink a big old bunch of water when she's riding her horse, and it doesn't upset her stomach. It doesn't. She just goes right at it.
You would not want to slosh on a horse.
You don't want to slosh on a horse, and you don't want to have your stomach so full of water that's not being absorbed by your body that you're just bouncing and you're all over the place. And so that's a very unpleasant thing. And so it is the best water that I've ever drank. I drink it every day. It is silky tasting. That's the best description I've heard of it. And it is antioxidant, so it will attack free radicals in your body. It's the highest antioxidant fluid or liquid that there is. There's the they measure antioxidant potential by the it's called the ORP factor, ORP, oxidation reduction potential. And everybody says drink orange juice because orange juice has vitamin C in it, and vitamin C is a great antioxidant. The antioxidant level of vitamins of orange juice is about -50. Green tea is better. It's I think upwards of 100, 150, minus 150. It's got to be a negative number in order for it to be antioxidant. Kangen water is upwards of -400 to -750, just depending on your source water. And so it's great antioxidant protection. It will hydrate you like tap water can't, because it is microclustered. The clusters of water molecules are broken down so that they will actually permeate your cell wall. This water will hydrate you at a cellular level, and it is the best tasting water that you will ever taste. It is antioxidant. It is microclustered. It is alkaline water. And your body needs to be slightly alkaline to maintain its health. But everything we eat and drink these days is acidic. We all go out and we get a soda, we get a Coke, or we get a Pepsi, or we get something like that, and those things are so acidic. The other day, Daryl, my battery went dead, and I popped up the hood and I had corrosion all over my battery. And I don't keep sodas at the house, so I had to go to my neighbor's house and borrow a can of Coke. And you know what you do with a can of Coke when your battery terminals are corroded?
Yeah.
You pour that right on there, and it eats the corrosion right away. And then what do we do with the rest of it?
Pour it down our
We drink
throats
it, don't we? We
down
drink
into
it.
our stomach lining, don't we?
That's exactly right. And it ate the corrosion right away. And I was able to get my car started, but it is the best water, and it is great water for, especially in the summertime when it is so hot, it's sometimes when I leave here, Daryl, I know it's going to be like walking into a wall out there.
It will, yeah.
It is so hot today. Last week was lovely in the 80s most of the week, and now we're paying for it.
Wonder how Bigfoot does in this heat.
It
sounds like he's nocturnal.
I think, people talk about Bigfoot being nocturnal, and that's when most sightings occur, but then you'll also have sightings that occur during the daytime. And I think what happens, especially here in the South, because that's why I don't do a whole lot of getting out in the woods in the summertime, because you won't have any action until well after midnight. If anything, because they are very hairy, of course, and so I think they wait till the temperatures cool down some before they get out and about in the summertime. And you know they're out when I'm asleep.
And I'm afraid of more than Bigfoot in the summertime.
Well,
woods.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm not so worried about snakes because snakes are big.
Yeah.
And you can see them.
Yeah.
Usually you can hear them.
And normally they'll leave you alone
And
if you leave them alone.
They'll leave you alone if you leave them alone.
Yep.
I cannot stand a tick.
Oh, and boy, yeah. And they'll get you this time of year too.
Ooh, I tell you what, I spray myself down with so much.
I've had more
deep
this
woods
year
off.
than ever.
It's a terrible year for
Yeah.
them. It really is. And I was driving. I was parked in running an errand yesterday, and was in the parking lot and felt something. I must have felt something on my earlobe, and I reached up and I touched my earlobe, and I had a tick on my earlobe.
Right on your ear, on your
I was
earlobe.
like, oh my gosh, and then you feel like you got them all
I've had
over
one or
you.
two on my head this year.
Yes, it's
just attached.
Terrible. And so when I'm out in the woods, and I tell you what, folks, because I know a lady who, they say that
Got the Lyme disease.
got the Lyme disease,
Ooh,
and
yeah.
people say, well, Lyme disease isn't in Tennessee. Well, this lady's in Tennessee, and
She got it.
she got Lyme disease, and she's really struggling with it. So, if you're out in the woods, spray yourself down with.
Does the repellent work? The repellents.
It seems to work pretty good. The Deep Woods Off is what I use,
Yeah.
and or anything like that seems to work
I
pretty
stuff
good.
my pants down into my socks. That helps a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It does. So yeah, if I'm out in the woods in the summertime, it's going to have to be awful late at night before you're going to hear anything, because it's just so hot. But and that's the heartbreak of being a Bigfoot in the South. You've got to worry about all this heat and humidity. Just imagine, we complain about it. We don't wear a fur coat all around. So
I think it's kind of funny, a guy out in the woods, looking for the Bigfoot monster, and his biggest fear is ticks.
yeah. Well,
That's what really freaks him out, the ticks.
That's right. That's right. I mean, Bigfoot can throw a rock at me, but I can duck that. You can't duck a tick. They're going to get you, and I just can't stand those creepy crawly things.
I'm with you.
Now I don't let them keep me out of the woods, but I just spray myself down really good. But let's see. We got one more book to give away, don't we?
One more book.
We
So
do.
you got more trivia?
One more trivia question. And we have
Make it a
talked
hard
about
one.
this.
Make it a hard one.
Well,
Make them,
Make this. This is kind of
Make
tough.
'em work for it.
This one's kind of tough. This is not a softball one.
Okay.
What two people became famous for filming Bigfoot? Roger Blank and Bob Blank.
Ooh, that is a tough one. Yeah, you've got to be a real enthusiast to know that one.
Got to get both their names. And since we can't see whether you're doing it or not, it's okay to Google it if you want to.
If you've been listening to the show, you probably know, because you've talked about them extensively.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So if you're a fan of the show, this should be easy. Well, fairly easy. I'll put it that way.
But you weren't in the multiple choice format this time.
That's right.
So.
Well, actually. Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're going to do that?
I'll do the multiple choice.
We may need some help.
I'll do the multiple choice. Okay, we'll start over again. What two people became famous for filming Bigfoot? Roger Blank and Robert Blank. Now, the choices are A, Patterson and Gimlin, B, Jones and Cook, C, Stewart and Sampson, or D, Smith and Williams. Those are your four choices. So give us a call at
615-794-1950, Michael.
Just rolls off his tongue, doesn't it? It's just amazing.
Just call me Johnny during this segment.
Tell them what they've won, Johnny.
Michael, our winner, will take home some great summer reading. And I think you have...
Do we have a caller?
Your next contestant. They'll take home Raincoat Sasquatch by J. Robert Alley.
Hello, caller. Welcome to Bigfoot Crossing.
Yeah, the last one.
I'm sorry. That's not the right answer.
All right.
Thanks for trying.
Contestant number one. Thank you. And Michael, one more time, please, sir, the question.
Okay, what two people became famous for filming Bigfoot? Roger Blank and Robert Blank, and the choices are A, Patterson and Gimlin, B, Jones and Cook, C, Stewart and Sampson, or D, Smith and Williams, and we know that's not the right answer. So we're going to narrow it down to just those three choices, Patterson and Gimlin, Jones and Cook, and Stewart and Sampson. So give us a call at
615-794-1950.
And Johnny,
Michael,
tell them what they'll win.
they'll take home the book Rain Coast Sasquatch by J. Robert Alley. A great collection for any library, Michael.
Exactly, and great beach reading this year. Like I said, if you're sitting on the beach reading a book about Sasquatch, you're either going to start a lot of conversations or people are going to leave you alone. So either way, it's good. Either way. And again, I want to repeat my request. If you had any involvement or know people who did have some involvement in the incidents that occurred in Lincoln County in the 70s and 80s called the Flintville Monster, with a series of Bigfoot sightings that really hit the papers because of the involvement of Jenny Robertson and her son, her 4-year-old son Gary, with the Bigfoot reaching out towards Gary. Give us a call. Give me a call on my cell phone, 615-516-7173. I'd love to talk to you about it. Maybe have you on the show to interview you, or if if you know someone who was involved and would be willing to come on the show. It's a fascinating period of Bigfoot history that gets overlooked because it didn't happen in the Pacific Northwest. It happened right here in Tennessee, in Lincoln County. So I would love to hear from you if you've had any involvement with that at all, or if you know somebody who did. Again, my number is 615-516-7173. Stan Moore is the gentleman that I was in contact with. That he was involved in the search for the creature in the aftermath of him reaching down and trying to pick up, or what appeared to be trying to pick up 4-year-old Gary Robertson. So if you know anything about that, or if you're with the Elk Valley Times and you've got, because I've looked on the Elk Valley Times website and I can't find any articles going back that far. So I would love to hear from anybody who has any information about the Flintville Monster. So give us a call. We've got one more book to give away today, and we've got only about 10 minutes to do it. And it is, Johnny, tell them what they're going to win.
They're going to win one more time, Michael. Rain Coast Sasquatch, the Bigfoot Sasquatch record of southeast Alaska, coastal British Columbia, and northwest Washington by J. Robert Alley.
Oh, you didn't even take a shot at pronouncing Yakutat.
You're right. From Puget Sound to Yakutat.
It sounds better with your mellifluous tones.
Oh, me.
Oh, my goodness. While we're waiting for our caller, we talked about the Flintville Monster. There's another sighting. It's not really a sighting so much as it's a story that John Green relates in his book Sasquatch: The Apes Among Us about Allen County, Kentucky. Now, does our signal go up to Allen County, Kentucky?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So if we've got any listeners in Allen County, Kentucky, here's what I'm reading from John Green's book. I'd also love to hear about this if you lived in Allen County, Kentucky. Just over the border in Allen County, Kentucky, there is a story that goes back 100 years about a group of creatures that lived in a forested valley called Monkey Cave Hollow. Ivan Sanderson has on file a letter from Harold Holland of Scottsville, Kentucky, including the following statement, quote, "About 20 years ago, one old man who had moved from this area but returned for a final visit to his home told me that when he was a boy of about 7 or 8 years, he saw the carcass of the last monkey, quote-unquote monkey. He stated that a hunter came by his father's house and displayed the dead beast. He said that he could not exactly recall what it looked like. After all, it had been about 80 years or thereabouts, but that the creature had hands and feet like a person. and was about the same size as he was himself, had no tail, and was covered with brown hair. So if you live in Scottsville, Kentucky, or in Allen County, Kentucky, and you know anything about Monkey Cave Hollow, I'd love to hear about that as well. 615-516-7173. 615-516-7173. And again, if you have any information about the Flintville monster and the sightings in and around Fayetteville and Flintville in the 70s and 80s, I would love to hear about that as well. So we have one more book to give away in the few minutes that remain. If we can get a caller to answer our trivia question, what two people became famous for filming Bigfoot? Roger Blank and Robert Blank. And the three choices are A, Patterson and Gimlin, B, Jones and Cook, or C, Stewart and Sampson. So we've got about 8 minutes left. Give us a call. Johnny, give them the number.
615-794-1950, Michael.
Oh, I think we got a call. Hello, caller. Welcome to Bigfoot Crossing. Hello?
Did we connect, caller?
Hello, caller. Did we cut you off?
They tried, Michael. I don't think they got through.
All right. Well, try again.
615-794-1950. And Michael Willey is standing by with that book in his hot little hands.
Tell him again.
Raincoat Sasquatch by J. Robert Alley.
There you go.
Someone's going to take it home, take it to the beach.
These are all good books, well-written books, and I hope everybody enjoys them. And they are courtesy of Hancock House Publishers, the home of cryptozoology. Very nice man, David Hancock. When I contacted him about the radio show, offered to provide these books free of charge to folks who were calling into the show. And so I'm glad to do that. And he was very, very, very nice and very happy to do that. So I want to thank Hancock House Publishers a lot. I want to give you an update on what, or actually, I guess something to look forward to as we are proceeding through the coming weeks with Bigfoot Crossing. In the next few weeks, I hope to have Dr. Jeff Meldrum on. Dr. Jeff Meldrum is a professor of anthropology, focusing primarily on locomotion, not trains, but how things walk. And he has he's at Idaho State University, and he has appeared a couple of times on Finding Bigfoot on the Animal Planet, and he appeared in a marvelous, absolutely marvelous documentary called Sasquatch Legend Meets Science. And I don't know why that documentary isn't shown every day on the Animal Planet. I've only seen it on TV the first time, and that's when it appeared. That's when it premiered, and it demonstrates. I'm going to give the answer away to the trivia question here. It demonstrates that the Patterson-Gimlin film is indeed a real film and not a fake, because there was just things in there that could not be fake. They recreated the film with computer animation and ran the film through the computer and recreated it frame by frame, and broke it down, and it couldn't be a fake the way they demonstrated it. And so we have a caller. Hello, caller. Welcome to Bigfoot Crossing.
Hey, this is Trey Stafford again. I was just going to call and see if I could get that book.
Yeah, what's the answer? Give us the answer.
It's the Gimlin Patterson film.
That's it.
I knew it all along, but I didn't want to, call and...
Well, Trey, you might as well jump in there.
That's right. That's right.
Well, no time was running out. So.
Well, are you heading for a vacation this summer?
No, sir. No, sir. Just working.
Oh, all right. Well, I feel your pain. Well, anyhow, you've got some great reading material here.
Well, good deal. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Y'all too now. All right. Well, we have managed to give away our 2 books and our 2 pendants. And I think we've had a great show today, but we are looking forward to. I'm in touch with Dr. Jeff Meldrum about appearing on the show, and so we are, and I'm closing in on new sponsorship, and so we're looking forward to that. And I just hope that you all stick with us here. Thanks for sticking with us. We were out for 3 weeks, but we're certainly glad to be back, and we will be back here next week on Bigfoot Crossing. Thank you all so very much for being here today.
Thank you, Michael, and join Michael next Monday right here on Bigfoot Crossing.
We hope you have enjoyed your visit with us here at Bigfoot Crossing. The internet home for Bigfoot Crossing can be found at www.bigfootcrossing.net. Michael Willey's website, Bigfoot in Tennessee, can be found at www.tnbigfoot.net. Please follow us on Facebook at Bigfoot Tennessee. You can also follow Michael Willey on Twitter. His handle is at Michael B. Willey. Each episode of Bigfoot Crossing is posted to the Bigfoot Crossing YouTube channel. Please subscribe so you can be notified when new episodes are posted. Your feedback is always welcome. Please email questions and comments to tnsasquatch@gmail.com. Be sure to let us know which episode you have a question or comment about. Thanks for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you next time right here at Bigfoot Crossing.